Hello, my name is Russell Myers. Welcome to Issues Unite. Let's talk about triggers. The term triggered has been, very widely used in the last few years, and I've had people accuse me of being triggered. And what does it mean when you're triggered? You know, being triggered means that you are responding to a specific word in a completely mindless, emotional response without any form of critical thought. And it is exceedingly rare that I ever get triggered. I always think very rationally. I know how to trigger other people quite well, but and there are times that I've been known to use it on purpose, but that's because that person was already triggered and they were only using a, a purely emotional, self-centric argument that they were unwilling to allow any critical thought into the discussion. You know, look at some of the things that have been used in recent years as triggers. Just words: Trump, Russia, Hillary. Yeah, on to H1N1. You know, socialism, communism, capitalism. And lately, the most recent trigger is, the coronavirus. You can't get away from it. Everywhere, everywhere, everything that happens is always tied to the same thing. Over and over. There's an article going around about a teenager in California that had this illness and was denied medical care and died. Well, I don't care what organism uh, or illness this teenager had. I don't care what anybody has. If they're being denied medical care, that's the issue. It's not the causative agent. It doesn't matter whether the person has a pre-existing condition or not. It doesn't matter whether you the point is that people in this country are being denied care because of lack of money. That is the issue. It's not this one thing. That one thing is not what caused that teenager's death that we know of. It was the lack of care that caused it. For a long time, everything wrong in our society was being blamed on Russia. And then everything being blamed on China. And then you couldn't get away from Iran and Syria. A lot of people were getting triggered about the Kurds and how we're abandoning them. This was only a few weeks ago. I got called a monster because I think that we don't belong in Syria at all. Our presence there is illegal under international law. It has always been, and it remains so now. But the people that were calling me monsters, I've still been keeping up with what's going on in Syria. The people that were calling me monsters, they have no idea what is going on. They don't know how Russia stepped in to help with that situation. They don't know that Syria, the Syrian government, the Assad government, stepped in to help protect the Kurds that were not attacking the Syrian government, of course. So they have no idea what the status of the Kurds is in Syria right now. But they were all triggered just a few weeks ago and attacking me as a human being for stating, no, we need to step out unless it is to take part and mediate peace talks. But we didn't do that in any way. Russia did, we didn't. You know, I've been called a Russian troll, a Russian asset, all kinds of things, because people are so triggered by the word Russia. And what happened with Russia? Not long ago we were still talking about, Bernie Sanders was talking about how Russia is interfering in our elections. Suddenly that stopped making the news when Bernie Sanders said that, because even the mainstream news, all of a sudden, after 4 years, they suddenly start asking for details. Well, how is this happening? So triggers come and triggers go. The whole point is getting you to react emotionally and not think. When you start saying any word too much, and you see yourself reacting emotionally and putting all critical thought aside, you need to look in the mirror, step back, take your pulse. Ask, what questions are you not asking? Ask if you are only looking for information on one side of an issue to reinforce your emotional reaction. Because that's what triggers are all about. They are to get you to react emotionally, to not think. I've been called a sexist, I've been called a racist, I've been called Russian, and none of this is true. I look at things from multiple viewpoints. I've been told because I'm not all for Marxism right now that I'm not really a socialist, and then I just get called names from all sides because I refuse to be triggered. I refuse to be obsessive in toward these triggers. I refuse to just go one direction and never consider arguments from other sides. That's called rational thinking. It's called critical thought. I don't think I'm superior to anybody else. I learned to think this way over time by examining myself, by correcting the flaws in my own thinking. Anyone can learn to do this. Anyone. But you have to be willing to look at yourself and say, this is what I'm doing. Nobody else can make you. No amount of education can make you do this. I've had arguments with people with PhDs that still got triggered, that still were obsessive in one direction or another and refused to look at other views. So we can all do this. It's all a matter of whether we want to or not. The education level doesn't matter. As long as you have just standard intelligence, you can manage this. But you have to face yourself first. It's all about self-awareness. All right. That's it for today. If you can, please donate $1 a day to help me. $1 a month, sorry. $1 a month to help me expand the channel. I'll put my PayPal link below. And Maria, thank you for your second donation. I think I hadn't mentioned it again. Mentioned that. She gave me a second donation. I'm very thankful and appreciative of that. And anyway, subscribe to the channel. Check out my website. I know I need to add some of my latest content onto the website. I'll be doing that over the next few days. And hope you have a good day.